Welcome to another edition of Bowie TV's Sports Spotlight. During this hour, we're bringing you highlights from our shows focused on all things sports in the DMV. Please be sure to follow us on all social media platforms. First up, Pitt Sports Zone. Head coach Bernard Clark Jr. of Robert Morris University shares his game day preparations ahead of this week's matchup against West Liberty State. Next, on Flip the Script, we heard Jade Courtlandt's takes on the hottest topics in sports, including the U.S. Open, NFL, and more. On Baltimore Ravens Rundown, we take a look at highlights and press conferences from Week 2's win over the Cleveland Browns. Lastly, we catch up with Candi Waller for highlights and analysis, excerpts on the Week 2 loss against the Green Bay Packers. Don't go anywhere, and as always, enjoy this week's episode of Bowie TV's Sports Spotlight. Good morning still. Not afternoon yet. Good morning, everybody. How you doing, man? It's your boy Pitts. Fits on Foot Sports Talk Radio, Pitt Sports Zone. Bowie TV coming to you live through the eye of the Tiger. Y'all already know what it is. We got Tiger, a.k.a. Coach Bernard Clark Jr., Robert Morris, University's head football coach. Gameday. Coach, how you doing today, man?
Hey, everything's doing well, man. I'm doing good. Woke up this morning. Good Lord woke me up this morning. I'm ready to go.
So we didn't get to touch base this week, so let's do a quick recap real quick. Didn't go as well as you would have liked against Youngstown State. If you can just walk us through some of the things that transpired in that game for the outcome to be what it was.
Well, I think the biggest thing was we started out fast. I mean, it was good. The offense went down. They put us in position to score. We kick a field goal. And then defensively, just imploded. That's what it boils down to, just to keep it nicely. We missed 27 tackles versus West Virginia. We missed 29 versus Youngstown. So it's a situation where the quarterback was he was taking off and we couldn't tackle him. And that's what it boils down to. It's nothing extravagant, nothing extreme. It wasn't the scheme of what they were doing. They were an outstanding football team. They were an athletic football team. And the quarterback just did his best to make us look bad, and that's what he did. That's what happened. We just weren't able to tackle him in open spaces. So that's something we had to work on this week. So that was the biggest thing. But the thing is like I always said, our guys didn't stop fighting. I mean, they kept fighting. The offense kept putting it into gear, kept doing some stuff, ended up managing getting 17 points out of it. So that's a positive. We didn't get the turnovers that we got the week before. That hurt us a little bit, not getting those turnovers. But our guys played hard. It's just that we didn't tackle well at all.
Yeah. When to talk about, off defensively, you say you missed 29 tackles. What can we contribute? Is it more so pop, not rack? Going for the big hit and not wrapping the tackler. As per now, everybody wants that highlight real hit where they hit, they bounce off, and the other player bounce off too, and nobody goes down.
I think that's some of the pitch, but it contributes to the simple fact that you can't tackle as much as you like during camp. And so when you get into situations where guys are going full speed and they've tackled as much as you can have them tackle during camp, they're not bringing their feet. I mean, they're not. Guys don't understand. You make tackles with your feet in place. If you don't have a good base, I always tell everyone there is no such thing as a perfect tackle, but there's a perfect way to tackle. If you can get the guy on the ground, there's a perfect way you teach how to tackle and everything else. But if you get a guy on the ground, that's what's important, making sure he hits the ground. But our guys just weren't putting their feet where they need to have them. They weren't having 10 toes down, as the young people say. They weren't wrapping up. They were just lunging. They were reaching as opposed to bringing their feet with them and wrapping up and grabbing cloth and bringing them to the ground. So that was the biggest thing. That was the emphasis we worked on this week in practice.
And when we talk about this week, as you prepare to take on today West Liberty State, what is our wow? What is our word of the week that the team has been exercising this week?
Going against West Liberty, our word of the week is dependable. Dependability, dependable, being trusted and depended on, to make sure you understand that. And guys don't understand that it takes a while to do that. And so if you got a guy who's not practicing well, but he wants to play, you got to explain to him, hey, you're not dependable yet. You're not fulfilling what you consented to fulfill. And that's what it boils down to. And they're not doing those things. So the word is dependable. We want to make sure these guys understand, not just them, but us as coaches. You got to depend on us putting you in the right place to make the play. But when we put you there, you have to make the play. If you don't make the play, then we got to put somebody in who is dependable and who can make that play.
When you talk about, dependable, being dependable, and definitely understanding and having the confidence that the person to your left and to your right, knows their assignment and is operating within their lane of their assignment, um, is a way that I would, more so for the viewers, lay it out there. Being dependable. Study habits. Were you in a study room? Did you study film? You know, and then also challenging each other, right? Being dependable doesn't mean hoping that that person knows their assignment, but also exercising the help in each other being dependable, right? Iron sharpening iron, studying together, asking each other questions in regards to maybe something they saw that you didn't see. Building that dependability within each other.
Yeah, you're 100% correct, Pitch. I mean, that's what it's all about. Our guys have to understand that in order to be dependable, in order for them to depend on each other, they got to know that they're doing the right things. We had a young man just transfer in from Central Michigan. Had some issues at Central Michigan. The coach loved him, but he just had a situation where he couldn't be there anymore. But he transferred in. And to be honest with you, he's already shown how dependable he is because my man is full speed every play. He doesn't know what he's doing. He has no idea. But when he's on kickoff, he's full speed. When he's on punt, he's full speed. When he's lining up at the corner position, which is what he transferred in as a corner, he's full speed. So he's already showing that he's dependable because he's going to give everything he has. As opposed to some guys who've been here for a while, when they're on scout team, they're going half speed because they're set down shops. So when it comes to being dependable, you got to show it also, and you show your teammates. And no one's going to have a problem with us putting this young man on kickoff. No one's going to have a problem with us putting this young man on punt team. No one's going to have a problem with us putting this man on punt return because he's come in and he's shown these guys, man, this cat's full speed every play. He's definitely dependable because he's going to give it 100%. And that's what it boils down to. So, yeah, you build it just like you said, but it's also a situation you also show it by being on that field and doing the things that you're asked to do by the coach and doing them at full speed.
And when you talk about doing a full speed, that's something that I emphasized to my son after his game on Wednesday. Was that trying to get him to understand that his practice habits become his game habits, right? So when you practice lazy, you play lazy. When you don't prepare and you horse around in practice, you're going to do it in the game. When you don't go full speed in practice, you're not going to go full speed in the game. And I think that's one of the elements that a lot of people take for granted or really don't understand the gravity of what that weight has and your preparation into the game is no different than when you're taking a test. You're taking a math test and you got to study, right? You're studying, you're practicing, your practice questions, practice answers, etc. It determines how you fare on the actual test. And I think the study habits, the practice habits become, as you said, for the transfer from Central Michigan. I tell my son, I'd rather you do it 100% full speed wrong than do it half speed right. You know what I'm saying? Because
Absolutely.
he's not that's that one thing for me. As a father, as a football player, as a football fanatic, one thing that I see that I tell him often, I don't care what you do, but I do expect you to do it 100% full speed every single moment, every single rep.
And that jumps off the screen. You know that as you're watching film and you're seeing a guy fly down on kickoff. Yeah, he just got here yesterday, but he's flying down on kickoff today. And you see him put himself in position to make plays. So exactly what you're saying, it is extremely important to go full speed. How you practice is going to dictate how you play. There are very few guys that I've been around that don't play like they practice. And I know guys go full speed. I'll tell you a crazy story. I always tell people this story. Junior Seau and I were drafted in the same year, 1990. And I'll never forget 2004. I was my first time being a defensive coordinator at Florida International University. And I went by the Dolphins training camp. I went by Dolphins practice. And Junior Seau was still playing. I'm talking about 1990, he was drafted. In 2004, he was still playing. And I'll never remember when they were doing special teams, Junior Seau was over on the trash cans working on blitz drill, which was the next drill coming up. I'm talking about full speed and a full lather. And I looked at myself and I self-evaluation at that time, and I said, I didn't practice nowhere near that hard. And that's why this man is still playing in the NFL in 2004, and that's why I'm coaching in 2004, because I could say to myself at that point in time, that man practiced and played exactly how he practiced, because he went at it. My man was going at it. He was a full lather. And the next drill was blitz drill. You can see the old lineman just getting tired of him, just coming at him and getting on him and just pushing him through it. The guy gave 100% on every snap in practice. And you see those things, and those things are direct correlation to what you do and how you play in a football game. I practice hard. I didn't practice hard like Junior Seau.
Yeah, absolutely. This week, offensively, what are we looking for, in regards to the development of the offense and trying to get some things rolling on that side of the ball?
I think building on what we did in the fourth quarter last week, we went for it twice on fourth down, and we converted into touchdowns on both those fourth downs. So just building on that thing. But the other thing that's important, I've talked to the O-line, I've talked to the running back coach, and I talked to the offensive line coach, and I talked to the running backs. We got to get a running game going. We got to find a running back who's going to be an every down back for us, who's going to be able to do those things for us, block for us, catch it out of the backfield, things we're asking our running back to do. But we got to get our running game going. And again, the toughest thing has been with this new 57-man roster, these new guys, is the O-line. Because when you don't have a nucleus there, it gets real tough. When you don't have 5 guys that are playing together every day and going at it, it's tough. But we think we're trying to find the right combination. We think we found the right combination, but we got to get our running game going. But like I said, it was pleasant to see our offense continue to push at the end of the game, score 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, put themselves in position so they can build on those things. So just want to see them build on what they did last week in the fourth quarter.
Goes back to that word that continuity.
Yes.
I was working on it. But yeah, when it comes to the offensive line, and we always say that the game is won and lost in the trenches.
Absolutely.
Right? And when you have a group within your offensive line that is new to each other, it goes back to your word of the week, right? Develop. They're trying to develop an understanding of each other, with their strengths and their weaknesses, and to where they can each rely on each other, to depend on each other to help mask those weaknesses and utilize all of their development together as a strength. So, when you talk about the running game and needing more from the running game, I'm not surprised if, it's the offensive line's newness that kind of plays a part in that as well.
Yes, the O-line's newness, but also our running backs' newness. As you know, we had some good ones last year.
Yeah.
We had some good running backs in our stable. And this year we got new guys. We got one guy back from last year, but he was also a redshirt freshman who didn't get the snaps that those guys got in front of him. So also our guys are learning how to press the line of scrimmage. Don't give up on the O-line too quick. Press the line of scrimmage. The hole's going to open up. Don't try to bounce it outside so fast. Wait for it to develop. Wait for it to make the block, and wait for the things to be there. So that's also the patience of the running back is another thing. But that goes back to exactly what you said. It's the continuity. Now it's a situation, can they depend on the O-line getting those blocks? And that's why being dependable was so important this week, and make sure our guys understand they have to play as a unit and play together to depend on each other and understand the importance of waiting on the block to develop, waiting on the running back to press the line of scrimmage. So that's important. And our coaches instill those things in our players, as well as our players instilling those things in each other.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Courtlandt Griffin.
And it's your girl Jade Courtlandt.
And we're bringing y'all Flip the Script, episode 1. Man, it's been a long time. For those of y'all that probably know Jade from It's Jade though, right?
The experience. If you're an oldie but goodie, I used to have a podcast called 3C Podcast with Alex and RP. But yeah, I'm so excited, you guys. So Flip the Script is basically a husband and wife duo where we talk about sports and pop culture, and we mix them together. Now, he is the sports connoisseur, not me at all. But I'm learning, y'all. I'm learning, and this is a judgment-free zone. And I'm gonna tell y'all that every episode, okay? That we're no judging over here. I'm ripping all the housewives that's trying to connect with their husbands. Okay?
That's, I've been doing sports journalism for a while, so yeah, I probably will be the sports noggin of the show. But the great thing about this is, for all the listeners, is that we're bridging that gap for all the regular people, right? Like, for those that, y'all like y'all infield Sundays, mix with y'all Atlanta housewives. So, but yeah, man, so like first things first is, we're gonna start with some quick hits, man. We call setting the scene. We're just gonna get some quick topics out the way, give our little spill on it, and then go from there.
Perfect. So I wanted to start off with that CEO at the U.S. Open snatching that hat from a little kid. Like, I wish the person who gave the kid the hat saw that, because that's just distasteful. It's a child.
Right.
He clearly was handing it to the child, and you decided to be what? You thought it was going to get you brownie points? You're on camera.
Yeah, so, shout out to, I was on Twitter actually talking about this a couple days ago. Shout out to my guy Rashad, County Boy Solo. Check out his podcast, The Nature of Things. It should be dropping sometime this month. We were talking about it. I can't think of the guy's name. It's like Chechich or something like that. But he's like a Polish CEO. They were at a U.S. Open game. This is good for bad story. And the tennis player hands the kid a hat. Now, we all know if you've been to a sporting event, players give kids hats and rackets and gloves and wristbands, all that pretty stuff, right? And generally, like, it's an exchange, it's a direct exchange. If you watch the video, the tennis player actually hands the kid or puts the hat in front of the child. The child, before the child can even reach for it, this grown man sticks his grubby fingers in and snatches it. I agree with Jay. Like, I think it's distasteful. I think it was a punk move, man. Like, and from what I understand, the tennis player did invite the kid back and give him some stuff, and right, and it's it's a save face. But what kind of bothered me was the CEO goes on, makes a statement, and it's like doubles down, and it's like.
He said first come, first serve.
Yeah, I'm teaching this kid a lesson, like, gotta be faster. And it's like, bro, what lesson were you teaching the kid, right? Like, you're a CEO, I'm pretty sure you made, top 1%, 6 figures, 7 figures. So, like, well, you could have won a Florida hat at Dick's or,
But he really can't. He ended up reneging. After that, he made another comment and said it was a huge mistake. So, somebody got to take the humble hat.
No, what it was is the board of directors said, hey, bro, you cost us money. So, we gonna keep it honest or raw with y'all here. Like,
exactly.
What I mean? This ain't ESPN. Shout out to y'all. Y'all wanna?
Yeah. It's fine. Speaking of the future.
But the next one though, shout out to two black sisters, right? Meeting in the, I believe it's the Australian Open. No, it's the U.S. Open. Yep. Sorry, it's the U.S. Open. Coco Gauff and Naomi Osaka, right? Two up and coming. Honestly, really, they're not up and coming. They're sad, right? They are the next. They are the progenitors of women's tennis right now, right?
Yeah, he loves seeing black girl magic. I love how much representation we have in the sport. And so Naomi did just get a win against Coco Gauff, but still, shout out to them. They both had excellent sportsmanship, and again, we love the sisterhood. And I just wanted to touch on that a little bit.
Oh yeah, so Naomi ended up winning the match 6-3 and 6-2. So she won two sets back to back, and got Coco Gauff out of there.
It's all good though.
Yeah, it's all good. That was in the round of 16. Coco Gauff came in; she was a top 3 seed. Naomi Osaka was 23rd, so it was basically an underdog story here. Like, Coco Gauff was running the game. Naomi was at one point, I think she was the young girl on the map, and then now, so they're it's kind of like when Venus lost to Serena, their sisters, right? So it was kind of like the new guard kind of taking over in that situation. But I think they had met once before. I'm gonna say.
I think they met more than once, but what made me bring this up is because I've seen a video that's going viral of Naomi and Coco from 6 years ago after one of their matches, and Naomi was comforting Coco and telling her, come do this interview with me. And she was like, no, like, she was crying. She was really hysterical about it. She was like, no, they're here for you. Like, congratulations, come on and do this with me. And Coco just absolutely loved that moment. And I thought it was cute. And I literally didn't know that it was from 6 years ago because it's just now going viral. And so I just thought that was really nice to highlight that Black girl.
Yeah, man. Like I said, shout out to Coco Golf. She has a bright future ahead of her. She's got many more years to go. I think both of these young ladies are under the age of 30. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's what they're doing right now is.
Love to see
it's almost unprecedented. I can't say it's unprecedented because we've seen, like I said, Venus and Serena. So, like, it's not unprecedented, but it is showing, I think, and giving us the representation. When you start talking about just the overall thing, right? Black people, for the most part, like people of color, we run professional sports, NBA, NFL, tennis. I think the only thing we don't really run is for this side. But even in like it's Mexico, like some of the best countries like Mexico, Argentina, plus with melanated people. So, man, like shout out to those two young ladies. But moving on, man, getting up my alley here a little bit. One of the people that I grew up watching and like watching college football, he was a college football fan. Everybody knows the name of Lee Corso, right? The man has been doing it for as long. Boy, gosh, I'm 32. This man is 90.
He's 90. Oh,
so, but Lee Corso did retire. It's a big blow to college media, like college sports media, because for the most part, Lee Corso is kind of like like he's a flagship, like in this game. So, like for those people like me, right, as a young man, I'm still in my 30s, and this man's been doing it for golly, right? And so he did his last, he was famous for doing the head of year prediction on College Gameday. He gave his last prediction, did his last show this past weekend to kick off college football, and he went 100%. He did not miss a game.
I love that for him. So he deserves his rest.
Yeah,
so
man.
I don't think it's something that should be sad or a blow to the industry. I think that everybody should be taking their hands off and congratulating him. That's a long life of doing something that you love. Like, it's super committed. So
it's just when you see somebody walk away from the game after, like I said, at 90 years old, this man was still doing it well into his, he's wonderful. Right. So I can only hope that, God bless him to see, 90 plus years of service that I can do sports media for that long. But shout out to him. Just wanted to kind of throw him his flowers, right? Lee Corso, he's a legend. He's a maverick in this game. And, we're going to miss him, right? So moving on. PJ Washington is a name that I think I don't know people.
Yeah, that's what going on.
Whether you watch NBA or not, right?
Yeah.
Everybody kind of knows his name, right? For some reasons for good, some for not. But
you're gonna talk about good right now.
Yeah, man. Shout out to him. He signed a 4-year, $90 million extension with the Dallas. I'll let you speak on the first part.
I think to me that's good. $1 million would be good to me. I'm just a regular person that works a 9 to 5. So $90 million, so that's like guaranteed or?
Yeah. So NBA contracts are fully guaranteed. Yeah, contracts fully guaranteed.
Shout out to him. That's amazing. He's still so young too. So
yeah,
I'm excited to see how he's gonna develop in the sport and the game and make it worthwhile. Like, I want 150 million next time.
It's trending in that direction. But I will say this: I think this is a great move, right? Last year the Lakers traded for Luka Doncic, who was a star player. They ended up sending Anthony Davis to Dallas, so it was like a star trade. It was a surprising thing for them. And then when you start to look at it, it's like, man, okay, we can't trade no more people. Right? Like Dallas went like it's crazy, right? Like Michael Parsons just gets traded from Dallas Cowboys and Green Bay Packers. So the fact that they're now being able to lock up one of their young players for 4 more years and really build the bedrock of this team, I think it's a big thing. But that kind of gives us the perfect segue into our first main topic.
So while we're talking about the professional aspect of PJ Washington, we're going to get into a little bit of drama. So if you haven't seen, PJ Washington, his wife, and his baby mama, Brittany Renner, kind of had a little run-in when they were doing a kid pickup drop-off. And I seen the video, they got real messy. Brittany specifically had yelled out, you know, you give your wife $170K. She did not say wife. I will not repeat the word that she said because
She said, shit,
she definitely did. But she's like, you only give $11,000 a month for your son. That is more. $11,000 a month is more than enough to take care of a small child that's under 5, number one. And number two, wasn't she just a Muslim, right? Like, it's just given an act. It's just given and seen. As soon as that marriage was over with Kevin Gates, oh, well, I'm changed. I'm a new woman. Not that she doesn't deserve the grace and that she can change, but people, you just never know what they're doing behind closed doors. But with somebody like her who always puts her business out in front street, it's just like you're proving more and more that you took advantage of that young boy just to get a paycheck. And that's represents.
Yep, and you out here gallivanting. I like that word. I heard it before used. Out here gallivanting with Kevin Gates. Because he don't get tired. But
It's over now.
well, yeah, but I don't know if it was a real marriage to begin with, but let me not speak anything that I don't know. Let me stick to the rivers and the ducks that I'm used to. So, PJ Washington, like you said, like she kind of goes with like this whole savior, right? He's just going, you can tell he's going to pick his kid up. He gets his son's kind of crying, right? Like any kid.
Yeah.
It's, you know, I want my mom, right? I don't want to go, but then, you know, they put his son in the black Escalade that's, I'm pretty sure, fully loaded and got, you know, probably had Bowie or
whatever the kids like.
Yeah, like PJ, what's that show?
PJ the Max.
PJ Max, whatever on the back, you know, on the headrest TV. on the headrest TV. He was cool, but it was the whole video was kind of live, right?
Yeah.
Like you see her mom, like they're in this house. It doesn't look like it's a small house at all.
No.
Like, it ain't no regular house.
Mm-hmm.
And like they got like a lawn chair in the living room, right? Like you kind of tell she probably not using none of that basketball wives money that you get.
It's a lot. I don't know what her paycheck was.
You know, she not, you know what I mean? She can't be putting the social media money into the big utility.
To the house.
So like, you know, then she's like, well, your son only got $11,000 in his account.
That's
That's account, mind you. The average American ain't got $500 in their account. They got $11K.
Like about that.
And then you like when you give her 170, mind you, this is this man's, I believe, Alicia Chanel. I want to say, or Alyssa. Let me not mispronounce your name now. Alyssa Chanel. I believe they're married and or like engaged.
No,
or
they're married.
They're married. Okay, so that is his wife. That is like, I ain't got nothing out here. But that's like if I went and did an exchange with my baby moms and then like she get mad because I give Jade 90% of our check or whatever, right? Like that's what she's here. That's her.
Right.
That's her place. So your son got 11K. That's more than enough. Like I don't even think their son is 2 years old yet.
I think he's
But regardless, he ain't old enough to be using 11,000, and
he's almost 3. He's not.
yeah. So and like I said, PJ, it was kind of wild that I think this video kind of picked up traction, and then literally, I want to say yesterday or this morning, it's announced that he has the 4-year, $90 million contract, and I want to say that Alyssa bought him a new Rolls Royce or like a new or a Cullinan with like this orange interior, and it's a mean one. If y'all look at that car, it's a mean one. I'm really jealous if you want to buy me a Cullinan one, you know, next week. So I'm just
What a nice segue.
if you want to put orange interior in the car,
Right.
yes.
Right.
I'm just, you know, but anyway, I think what I think is, and I'm gonna give, and we can move on. What I think what's happening is, I think she knew, because I mean, it's a custody thing, right? It's family work. He got to report his earnings regardless of what, you know what I mean? He had to report those earnings. So I'm pretty sure she knew he got that contract coming about. I'm pretty sure he knew he had this contract coming up.
Exactly.
And I think this was a situation where she wanted to try to like sway the public opinion of how get him out of his body, of course, and you know, like trying to like antagonize him, right? Get him to do something on camera, and I commend that young man for, you know, keeping his head and really not going where he could have gone, because it could have got ugly. But speaking of nasty exchanges, though, we're gonna switch back to this here, man. And so Taylor Townsend and Yelena Ostapenko. I want to say this was also in the U.S. Open.
Yeah, they kind of got into it when I think Taylor, she had won the point because it hit the net. And Yelena just did not like that at all. She told her that she had no class, she had no education, and see what happens outside the U.S. That sounds like a threat to me. That sounds like you want to fight to me. And the thing I love about Taylor is she was like, you know, it's fine. You know, I'll beat her in Canada. So yeah, let's see what happens outside the U.S. Like, I'm excited for that. In other words, watch your back, sis. Watch your back. These cameras is in my face and I'm trying to keep it cute. Because Yelena put her fingers up in her face talking down on her.
I believe she said she had no education or it was something crazy.
Yeah, she is.
But she also cleaned up. She cleaned up real nice. At the U.S. Open in that match, she won 7-5 and 6-1, which is, I mean, I don't understand why you got 50, you got smacked on. But like the sportsmanship side, right? Like, as a former athlete, I know all too well what trash talk is, right? You gonna say what it is to get under your, you know, your opponent's skin. Like, I ain't gonna tell y'all some of the things I used to say or have said, but it's a different situation when it comes in a loss, right?
Yeah.
This is Karita Parks with Bowie TV. The Baltimore Ravens, they won their home opener in convincing fashion with a 41-17 win over the Cleveland Browns. They bounced back from that fourth quarter collapse last week, and this defense looked really good. They looked like the defense that we thought that they would be. And Lamar Jackson, he said that this is a defense he goes against every day. Here's what he told me. Lamar, what's your thoughts on the defensive performance? They bounced back from last week in a big way.
Yeah, I seen that throughout camp. Like I said, I feel like we go against the best defense each and every day, and I feel like they showed it tonight, earlier today. Lamar.
What was great about the defensive performance today is that they actually created turnovers. Nate Wiggins, he had a huge interception that he brought back 60 yards to set up a field goal for the offense. In addition to that, Tavius Robinson, he was responsible for a strip sack on Joe Flacco that Roquan Smith recovered and took it all the way to the house. This team, they said they wanted to focus on turnovers this year. Also, in the offseason, Nate Wiggins talked about he was going to be a different player this year in his second year and being more comfortable. I asked Coach Harbaugh about his growth. Coach, Nate Wiggins, he said that we would see him be a different player this year. Could you just talk about the growth? You mentioned his interception.
Been seeing him practice. Then he wasn't quite what he wanted in the game, you know, and we watched tape together, him and me. And he knew, he always was telling me. And I thought he came out today and kind of liked it, just took a deep breath and played that technique that he wanted to play. And I think he'll just keep going from there.
Also getting in on the turnovers was special teams. Jake Hummel, he had a block punt that Sanusi Kane recovered. That set up a touchdown by Tylan Wallace. Also on offense, DeAndre Hopkins, he had another one of his impossible catches in the end zone. And Tez Walker, he had 2 touchdowns today. Tez had an amazing offseason, and Derrick Henry spoke to the fact that it was eventually going to show up in a game. Tez is someone who had a great camp, so to see him go out there and deliver 2 touchdowns today, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, Tez is getting better. You see it in practice, and which is what happens in the game. So happy for Tez. It's a big play for us. Needed it. Hopefully it continues for sure.
While the defense feels like they bounced back, they're never satisfied. They always feel like there is room for improvement. And next up, they have Monday Night Football against the Lions. I asked Roquan Smith what would be the key to staying consistent moving forward. Roquan, what's going to be the key to carrying this performance over to Monday night?
I think it's going to be very simple, being who we are, play in and play out, not allowing teams to get us off balance. Yeah, they're professional. Teams are going to be professional, so they're going to make plays, but it's about the response mechanism and how we're going to respond to adversity. And I know each and every guy in our locker room are going to respond the right way, so it's about.
On the injury front, unfortunately, the Ravens did have 2 of them. Kyle Van Noy, he did not return to the game with a hamstring injury. And then also Marlon Humphrey suffered a groin injury. So we will keep you updated on that throughout the week. This is Karita Parks with your Ravens Rundown. Be sure to follow us on Bowie TV Sports at Bowie TV Sports.
Being here. Appreciate y'all being over there too. Thanks for being here. Great win, great bounce back win, a great winning football win in terms of handling a really tough week, a really challenging week, but also understanding, what it takes to bounce back and win the next week or play a good football game. I thought we did the things we needed to do. The guys already knew how to do those things, but come out here and do them in this game in terms of winning maturity, if you want to call it that. And Marlon mentioned that, something we had talked to the team about, that maturing as a football team to win games like that. They did that in this game, and this was a tough game. The score doesn't really indicate it, but this was a grind of a football game. You guys saw the game, that's true. So it was a grind, and probably maybe one of the biggest things, there's a lot of turning points in that game. The block punt and Nate's interception set up the first 10 points, but also the fact that our offense was backed up 3 times in the first half, all the way back, inside the 10, even inside the 5-yard line, and didn't cave to that high-pressure defense in terms of them making a play there that would have turned the game around and put them in the game. I think that's probably the winning key to the game, especially offensively. And you just keep pushing, you don't make mistakes. They overcame some things on a couple drives, especially the drive the guys back to 17, and then made plays at the end against a defense that was loaded up to stop the run. So that was good to see too. Proud of the guys. What questions do you have?
John, was there anything said when you're going into that fourth quarter, you got that double-digit lead, was there anything said, because you had talked about one of the things you wanted to do was how people communicated on the sideline. Was there anything said in that fourth quarter?
Yeah, I don't remember any specific thing other than, game's not over. Game's not over, let's go. Let's finish it up and do what we gotta do, things like that.
John, how important was it to see that type of response and immediately from your defense, especially with the takeaways?
It was important. That's I wanted to see a good defense. I wanted to see the defense that I believe we can be. A defense that we've been working to be. I wanted to see that. We saw that a lot, and we can get better. We need to get better, but we'll chase that too. But I thought the defense really stepped up, played a good football game.
John, we're seeing Roquan over the years play pretty well as a Raven.
Yeah.
Would you say that's his best game as a Raven?
Oh man, that's a tough question. I don't know if it's his best game ever. Maybe, probably he could answer that better. I've seen so many good ones. It's in that category. But he's such a consistent player. That's probably why it's such a hard question to answer, because he plays so well, pretty much every week.
John, another thing that Marlon said this week was, we're not going to have a repeat of last year. The guys who do it right are going to play. You saw more opportunities for a guy like TJ Tampa, a guy like Teddy, and linebacker. How do you feel like some of those decisions played out after?
Yeah, and those decisions should be looked at in a positive light. We were going to want to give guys opportunities. TJ's been practicing well the last couple of weeks. Teddy's been practicing well, but that's no slam on anybody else. I mean, Trent's been playing well. He played well in the game too, so I don't have any negative to say about any of those guys. But it's good to see those guys step up and play well, and the opportunity presents itself, and we want everybody to be able to respond that way. So, You know, and even, I know you're gonna ask me about Jair. Jair Alexander is gonna play great football for us this year. You know, it's just, I kind of made the decision. He's pushing me hard, but I made the decision, let's get completely right in football shape, you know what I mean? You gotta be in football shape, and he didn't get a chance to be in training camp for the full thing, so he's healthy, he's gonna be fine, and he'll be out there very soon playing great ball for us.
How big do you think this game was after how last game ended and how you guys responded, especially in the fourth quarter today?
I feel like every game is huge, you know, trying to win in a divisional opponent. I don't know how they, how it goes when they ranking it and stuff like that, but, a divisional opponent rival at that, and 30th anniversary, first home game in front of the flock, we had to bring it home.
Lamar, 3 catches and Candi Waller scored 3 touchdowns out of 2 today. I mean, what do you make of just him being able to be reliable for you despite maybe not playing a lot?
Yeah, Ted is a very hard worker, man. We seen it in camp, since his rookie season last year. He's been grinding, and all he needs is an opportunity, and he showed it each and every time.
Lamar, D-Hop has had maybe 3 of the highest difficulty catches in his first 2 games that we've seen in a while. What has gotten the trust there, and what do you make of the plays he's made for you guys so far?
Oh man, I seen it, his whole career. Even when I wasn't in the league, I've been watching D-Hop make spectacular catches, and when he was on other teams as well. But just seeing him in camp, just building chemistry there, and I feel like everyone call him. I believe people call him washed, stuff like that, but he's showing otherwise.
How big a deal is it for you to have a receiver like D-Hop who doesn't need to be open to make a big play necessarily?
A guy who can, be covered and still make plays. I feel like we have that, but he's different. He's a vet, and he's done seen it all. At the cornerback position, and the guy has huge hands to catch the ball one hand, 2 fingers. It don't really matter. He's happy. So shout out to D-Hop.
Lamar, what's your thoughts on the defensive performance? They bounced back from last week in a big way.
Yeah, I seen that throughout camp. Like I said, I feel like we go against the best defense each and every day, and I feel like they showed it tonight. Earlier today.
Marlon last week had said that he thought the defense struggled from a lack of maturity or whatever the word would be. This week, how different did they seem, day to day as you play against them on the field?
They looked extremely mature today. Got turnovers, kept points off the board, except that wild touchdown. But those guys just did 9/11. They did it. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. They might turn this into a meme or something, but they just did the whole thing. But they did what they're supposed to do today.
Lamar, we see a little bandage in your elbow here. Is that from an IV, and is that related to some of the cramps you had last week? Or
I get an IV every game, but yeah.
Okay.
Like when you see that ball on the ground and you pick it up, is it just instantly in your mind end zone?
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like it took me back to my high school days playing running back. But it was an awesome job by T-Rob being able to get the sack, fumble, and I just reap the reward being there close to the ball, and I just had to do a little sprint for about 15, 20 yards.
Hey, Roquan Marlon this week specifically mentioned maybe a lack of maturity on defense. How did your defense kind of respond and find a way past that?
At the end of the day, it's only about the people that's in our locker room, and we have the utmost respect for each and every person that we go to war with out there, all my guys, and from Zio at the top of him. So it's more so about just being who we are for 4 quarters, and I felt like we showed that today, but still there was a lot of plays that we felt like we left out there. So there's room for improvement. Just got to get back in the lab, get better, enjoy this victory, and on to Monday night.
How big a deal was it that the defense, and you specifically, made some impactful plays, tackles for losses pretty much right out of the gate? I mean, was there an element of like, what happened last week is not going to happen again this week?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like last week we all had a sour taste in our mouth, and it was just more so about moving on and not letting last week beat you twice. And I felt like it was a great job by Tooch giving me some great pictures this week, and then for studying these guys and knowing what they like to do in certain situations and just like pulling the trigger. But I still feel like I left some plays out there. So it's just more so about getting back in the lab, getting better, enjoying this tonight, and on to next week.
Real quick, I asked Coach Hobbs, was this your best game as a Raven? He said, you think you've been consistent since you've been here. But would you consider this the best statistic, best game as a Raven?
I don't really look in all that. My job is to just go out each and every week, play to the best of my ability, and that's just what I do. And let everybody else decide if it's the best game or not. That's not my decision. So I'm just focused on being the best teammate, best leader, and best linebacker for the guys.
Quan, how happy were you, as especially with everything that's gone on over the last week surrounding the defense, to be able to kind of put the exclamation mark on this game?
At the end of the day, like I said earlier, it's only about the guys inside of the locker room and the guys that we're going to war with. So all the noise, honestly, I don't really hear it, nor do I care about others' opinions. It's more about the guys who I'm going to war with. That's who I care about, opinions and how they actually feel and how we're going to go out and show exactly who we are. And we're going to do that week in and week out. Yeah, last week is in the past for a reason. Learn from the mistakes, did a lot of great things, but it's great to have your weaknesses revealed week one as opposed to later in the season. So got that sour taste out of our mouths, left a couple plays out there today, but it's just more so about being who we are for the rest of the season and not having any let-ups and playing four-quarter football.
All right, Candi, I mentioned the score 27-18. It wasn't the best performance for the Washington Commanders, but what were your overall thoughts on the performance last night?
Okay, so I'd already made a decision. I said, all right, I'm going to start off with the bright side of things. And I got
cool.
Like there were some bright moments, right? Trey Amos pass breakup was a bright moment.
It was.
Right? Like, and there it is, everybody, right? Because it's different when you do it to your teammates, but doing the end game is such a critical moment early on in the game. That was a bright moment.
Yes.
Zach Ertz,
oh man,
who
awesome.
I told everybody in May was looking ready. Absolute bright moment.
Yep.
Right. Deebo Samuel. One thing Deebo Samuel's going to do, and this is my aunt. So this is Mama Waller's sister.
Oh, she my mom. Hey, auntie.
That's auntie.
Hey, auntie.
That's Auntie Miranda. Yes.
Hey, auntie. Man, I gotta stop for auntie too. All right, we're gonna stop for auntie.
Yeah, I was about to say that's Mama Waller's sister. That's
hey, auntie. Are we gonna do this? We gonna keep it. Look. We gonna keep it respectful. I'm here.
Yes, I appreciate that. So Zach Ertz, Deebo Samuel, one thing he gonna do is fight for it. Remember we talked a lot about the what the needs are, and to get tougher, more physical. Debo gonna get we saw him get after it last week for a touchdown. We saw him do that last night for a touchdown. Also, speaking of Debo Samuel, let's talk about this return game.
Yeah.
He had a 50-yard return. You saw Jalen Lane get into some of the action with the returns.
He looked good.
Speaking of special teams, that play by Percy Butler.
Yeah,
they were gonna call the foul. That they were going to call the foul. But we were in the press box like, that's not a foul. It's not a foul.
Because he was close to not being down. I knew exactly what he was doing.
Exactly. So it was intense. It was an intense play, but not a foul. So, and it got him on the 4-yard line, right? Those are some of the brighter moments, right? But then that's when, let me now transition to what wasn't so bright.
There you go. Go for it.
Right? Then it was, you're on the 4-yard line. Percy Butler did y'all a solid.
Yeah.
And it went down 96 yards. And I said, well, dang.
Yeah.
And that's what I knew. I said, the defense, they out here too long. Offense, very quick 3 and out.
Yep.
Super fast. All of it. I was like, this is not going to end well. This isn't going to end with a W. Yes, I see Luke had a catch. And I feel bad.
Sorry. Let me stop. You're right. I stopped too, though. I'm sorry. Mama Waller, now you in the building. Nah, we in here. Hey, Mama Waller.
Yeah.
Mama Waller and your sisters here too. Look.
Yeah.
I'm here. I love it. I love it. I'm here for it. I'm Nigerian. I'm all about family. I love it. I love it. I love it.
And so you saw Luke get involved. Luke had a 2-point conversion. You gotta give all the bright spots. But then I'm gonna go back to defense. I'm gonna go back to offense not getting traction, and then those two things I want to get back into a bit more.
Go for it.
But I think like the overall rough side was the injuries. Dietrich Wise hurt. Dietrich that hurt. And being there, I'll be honest, I started to watch the TV version, and right when it was getting to the moment of when I knew that the injury was happening, I just turned it off. I was like, I don't even feel like going into this because I already know. I end up insider scoop, right? Or insider, like this is what we're doing. This was on Amazon. Sometimes I'm listening, and sometimes, and I think I may have shared this with you before.
You said that. Yeah. The delay.
I'm listening to the broadcast because I want to hear what they're saying, but then it becomes distracting to me because I'm there.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm watching it. He will be out for the season. It's that season-ending surgery, and it was a quad injury. He was still trying to figure some things out because if you recall, he was listed as questionable knee injury on the injury report, and he was warming up before the game, working with trainers. He played, and they're not going to play people if they can't play. And he played, and so I that hurt. And Dietrich, that I will share. I don't mind sharing this.
Go for it.
Bowie TV, myself was really building a great rapport with Dietrich. Super cool guy.
Yeah,
does great things in the community. And he I was like, yes. They got themselves one right here. I made a big deal about his play last week and just the display of a commander. In the you knew, and it was just, I don't want to call it a random play, but it was on an extra point.
Yeah.
And so he just went down. You saw, Commanders players jumping up and down and waving trainers over like almost immediately. And then everyone just dropped to their knees.
Yeah, it just sucked.
And that was just like, what just happened? And so that was rough. Austin Eckler, non-contact, that was rough. We saw that too. We were just standing there. He was over there by himself, and it was just like, what just happened? And as much as Austin has worked, we know his history with the concussions, but as much as he has worked, and I've consistently talked about the running back room, I've consistently talked about Austin and each one of these players are doing to just get better and just get faster. Austin was on some speed type. I mean, he was going for it. And so to see that happen in a non-contact way, when everyone's concern would be him getting injured in contact, which just like, this is bizarre. Like, what in the world? That hurt. Trey went out for a minute with his shoulder, came back. Brandon went out for a moment. He came back. Jonathan Jones had to go out, and it was later in the game, so he didn't return. Mm-hmm. He had a hamstring injury. Mm-hmm. He had a hamstring injury, and that was going on during the summer. Noah Brown with a growing injury. John Bates.
Yeah. Paul asked about that. Yeah.
And it's just like everything just started happening. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I made the whole thing like, well, week 1 got out of the injury bug.
Yeah.
Ooh. And week 2, it was just like downhill. Mm-hmm. And that was rough. That is rough. And I don't think there's any answer. We don't know. You have to try out players, have other players, have you practice squad players step up. But Dietrich Wise, and it hurts all the way around. But Dietrich Wise, that was a blow. That was a blow.
Yeah. Paul's asking you, like, when did Bates get hurt? Like, when did it actually? Do you know when it happened?
I think I might have just told that he was hurt.
Yeah.
And maybe I do know. It's all a blur right now. But it's I could follow back up on that. But it was fast.
Okay.
And then at one point in time, Josh Connolly Jr. went into the blue medical tent, but he
did. I didn't know that. Oh, he did.
Okay. I did tweet that that he had gone out. He was in the medical tent for sure, but he went back out there. So
this is a good question because I've been seeing reports that Jaden had an MRI today, and was Jaden limping after the game? Did you see him limping?
Yes.
Okay.
I did. I'm not sure because I just got back today.
Yeah, no, you did. Yeah, you was on a flight. Yeah.
I'm not sure what the report said. But we didn't. Yes.
No.
Short answer.
I just no. The report was recent. It was like an hour ago that Grant Paulson reported that he had an in, and his in said that Jaden had an MRI sometime after the game. Mm-hmm. But I know you were there. I just wonder, was he limping? Like, did you see him limp or whatever? Mm-hmm. Walk with him there. Yeah, it's crazy. So I saw that play, and I saw Jaden's mannerisms after he was hit, and then a couple plays when he tried to get back up, and I was like, oh, he's a little banged up. To a point where I was like, just take him out. There's no need to have him back out there, to be honest. Mm-hmm. That was my thought process. But how I'm gonna ask you this question without going, diving deep into it. Was the limp bad or was it just a casual limp? And if you play sports, folks know what a casual limp is.
Here's what I will say.
Without being like the ops, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about.
Right. Knowing Jaden's mannerisms.
Yeah.
If he was, last year when they had to take him out the Carolina game, like you see him visibly wincing, but that's your ribs, right? You can't really breathe. What I'll say is when he had to go out of the game and had to go into the blue medical tent, Jaden threw his helmet.
Yes.
And he broke it, basically. Like he was very angry. I believe he broke it. I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
But he looked angry though. Like
he was very angry. Like that's one of his pet. That's one of his when he can't play. Mm-hmm. Jaden did not have those mannerisms.
Okay.
After the game, I posted the video of him talking to Micah Parsons and
I saw that.
All that. If it was serious, he wouldn't have been out there.
All right, say less. Say less.
Was he limping? Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. He's absolutely limping.
That's all. Say less. Say less. We need the ops. Say less.
Yeah. He can kill himself.
Yeah.
For the most part,
I do want to ask you, since you went into Austin Eckler, like how, in terms of that situation, like Austin Eckler is so valuable to this team, and just in terms of like what he brings to the table, pass blocking, playmaking ability, as a guy that you could tell this team definitely values him more than maybe others do in terms of like the thoughts of the fans, whatnot, But his injury, how can this affect this team in the long run? Like, what does it do for this team in the long run?